Hi, wrestling fans. Thanks for clicking the dreaded D-Rose report. I gotta be quiet. My buddy's over here asleep. Anyway, give me a couple of days worth of reports there. WWE's announced that Roman Reigns, Ambrose, Kane is taking on Strowman, Wyatt, and World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins December 8th for the Tribute to the Troops and SmackDown taping from Jacksonville, Florida. No word yet what the main event's going to be, but that could be it. By the way, if you're going there, Ticketmaster's pre-sale is the code is TROUPS. And for what it's worth, WWE has dropped the Wilder and Scott name from Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. The mechanics are now just being called Dash and Dalton. Why not? Easier on autographs too. All right, WWE will tape another round of NXT tapings. It was last night from Full Sail University. According to Open Slate and Tube Filler, WWE's YouTube channel was the second most viewed for the month of September with about 360 million views. The music channel, I think, is 371 million views and 342,000 subscribers that WWE had this month. YouTube channel, by the way, has looks like 5 trillion all-time views and 7 trillion all-time subs. Man. All right. John Laurinaitis, I don't know if you caught the network after Raw, which had the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast on there with Brock Lesnar. Well, anyway, he talked about on, and they showed a clip of him doing that moonsault. I think it was at WrestleMania 19 on Kurt Angle. And he was saying that he didn't really want to do it. He's done it before, and he did it okay. That was when he was younger. Don't know who this is, but hang on. I'll get it. Be right back. All right, where was I? So anyway, John Laurinaitis was the one who suggested Brock Lesnar do the shooting star press in the match with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Lesnar talked about on that podcast about a botched spot with Steve Austin on the podcast, but wouldn't name who suggested him do the move. Lesnar said he did not want to do the move, but someone talked him into it, saying it would be a WrestleMania moment. Well, it was, but just about for the wrong reason. And apparently it's been said that other interviews that Jim Ross pushed it as a WrestleMania moment. Lesnar told Austin that he wasn't being selfish. He was talked into it and just didn't feel comfortable doing the move. But he wanted to do his WrestleMania moment. That's a big guy to be trying to do any flipping around. But I know when he was down in OVW, I know him from down there, and he did it there. But he was a lot younger. I don't know how much heavier he is now, but or then. Apparently, Germany WXW indie promotion announced the retirement match former superstar Ezekiel Jackson. Remember him? They said now it's premature. Promoter Bill Barron notes that former ECW champion is not retired and is still, taking bookings through Behrman at showbiz@AOL.com. So don't get excited. He's not retiring yet, but I don't know how often he gets booked. Page is currently in Los Angeles for tonight's appearance, last night, to promote the WWE 2K16 and Hell in a Cell. She reunited with indie wrestler and former TNA star. Remember Joey Ryan? Oh, and by the way, this marks 20 years since Goldust arrived in WWE. His debut is featured in the latest episode of WWE This Week in History. Corey Graves does that, and Kyle Edwards. WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snakes Roberts, he appeared on Adam Carolla show recently and talked about going to work for a new wrestling promotion starting in Vegas, and he's going to be doing it as a trainer. Wonder who that is. Roberts said on the podcast he's having another hip surgery soon and will be moving to Vegas to work with the group. And yesterday, happy birthday to WWF Euro Continental Champion D'Lo Brown, 45 years old, and CZW Ironman Champion Adam Flash, 44, former NWA regular Pork Chop Cash, 60. Pedro Morales, 73 years old. And also, this would have been the birthday of WWF wrestler Bad News Brown, 70 years old. And in 2005, three-time AWA World Heavyweight Champion Reggie Lowowski died at the age of 79 years old. Who's that? The Crusher. And his final match came in 1988, but he continued to be involved in wrestling through the 90s, and sadly his final years was marred with a lot of health problems. And upon his death, he was crippled from repeated knee surgeries and had a partially paralyzed after having a tumor removed from his brain, and that eventually it ended up claiming his life. Great guy. WWE website's got a new poll up asking fans, I don't know about going through all this. Anyway, they named about 7 matches or so. What do you think the best one was? Well, anyway, with about 32%, they came under Undertaker versus Mankind at Hell in a Cell, King of the Ring, 98. Had about 32%. Austin taking on HBK had 15%. Steamboat and Savage, 12%. I don't like that when they say, here, you got to vote on these. I want to vote on all the matches. Just leave me alone. Let me vote. All right, RUSEV and LANA. Yep, they were at the Clippers game again, preseason game in Los Angeles last night. And they were with NBA stars Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. They had a picture. They got a picture on their well, it's not on their website. It's on their Twitter account, I guess. I don't know if they're getting in trouble for that kind of stuff. But anyway, The Rock revealed yesterday that he launched a new partnership with Under Armour Clothing to release products for men, women, and kids. And the partnership's been going on, or trying to get together and get things done for years, I guess. Finally got it done. First WWE segment on ESPN News Center. Don't know if you caught that, October 13th. With WWE Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins drew about 94,000 viewers. Not sure how much the regular shows draw. We'll have to check. And noted NXT superstar Colin Cassidy currently is injured with the leg. Injury is on crutches. No word yet on the details of the injury and stuff, but he's going to be out of action for several weeks. And there's been speculation of news of LANA and RUSEV, the real life engagement going on. Got out through TMZ, could result in some heat for the two. But for what it's worth, the Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that there's far more heat on LANA than RUSEV. And whenever I see LANA, she has heat for me also. Randy Orton currently out of action with a shoulder injury, scheduled to have an MRI done soon and find out whether he's going to need surgery or not. But Orton had shoulder problems since early in his career and had been working with bad shoulder as of late, but the shoulder was dislocated while he was taking out the trash at home this past week. He must have had a lot of trash, or he just didn't pick it up right. Orton was said to be in tremendous pain, and it took 3 hours to pop the shoulder back in place. Oh, man. I can't, never had a shoulder out of place or anything. I've been out of place many a time. I got put back in my place, but not my shoulder. And NXT champion Carmella, 28 years old today. And I started bringing this up maybe a few weeks ago, that there's a guy given the top 100 wrestlers. Well, anyway, he's going from 100 up. And he's only adding maybe like one a week. But number 100 on his list is Jim the Handful Neidhart. Well, anyway, 99 is Marty Jannetty, Sensational Sherry, Nikolai Volkov, Hardcore Bob Holly, Soulman Rocky Johnson, Wendy Richter, which I left off at last time I read this, and he added number 93 is Vince McMahon. Look at it. I would actually put him higher. He don't wrestle good, but he puts on a good show. And WWE Network will be available in India if you're over there next Monday for $9.99 a month. Fans in India can go sign up at WWE Network and will receive their first month free. They will have access to the U.S. English version of the network. This is news that I mentioned a year or so ago, and I never believed it, can't believe it. Bubba Ray, his girlfriend is Velvet Sky. Well, he was asked about Velvet Sky joining WWE. He said it's no secret that me and Velvet are together. And I wouldn't keep it a secret either. If you go on Twitter, I think there's an entire Twitterverse would like to see that happen. Sky coming to WWE. Anyway, he says she's probably the most over female wrestler out there, and like there's never been in WWE. She's phenomenal, and I think the fans in the WWE universe would love to see her in the WWE ring. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen one day. Yeah, it will. WWE's Senior Director of Talent and Development, Canyon Seaman, tells wrestlers who are seeking a second WWE tryout after having a bad first tryout to make themselves into an indie star because they have low chances of getting into WWE through a second tryout. The old WWE doctrine was to look down on indie guys with the feeling that their style isn't translate at the big stage, and would rather go through bigger and higher quality athletes who can train from scratch. The doctrine has obviously changed due to what fans are into right now. They could always be changing. But by the way, if you go to either the hotline number, what I always have at the beginning of this, if you go onto there and hit option 1, talk to Diamond Dan or listen to him, he's got an advertisement on there. The Hustler, Rip Rogers, is having a tryout, not too far from here. It's I've never heard of Memphis, Indiana, but anyway, you might want to get the details over there, where you can, if you're a wrestler wannabe, I would try and get a phone call over to Rip, get in touch with him, and get a tryout going there, and see what you can do. It's going on, I believe, tomorrow sometime. I'm not sure of the date. That's what I'm saying. Just look at the. I don't hope it's not too late to get in on that. But Rip is a great guy. He's trained and made a ton of millionaires out of WWE talent down in OVW. So get him checked out. Good guy. Thanks for clicking, you guys. I gotta go.